This is The Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
Good afternoon, Tuscaloosa, Internet world. West Alabama, how we doing today on this Wednesday? It's the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central, BamaCentral.com. You're checking us out on the Bama Central YouTube channel. I am Joe Gaither. You are the viewer watching us on my own social media machines at Joe Gaither6, or you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or Amazon, the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. We appreciate everybody who's checking us out wherever you like to find the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. You're always welcome there, and we want to welcome our friend Mason Woods. You can find Mason Woods on the social media machine at MAWoods_. We're going to have a lot of fun on a Wednesday. We're going to be talking a lot about the LSU Tigers. We're going to be talking about Garrett Nussmeier, where he belongs in the NFL draft. We're going to be talking about how Alabama will be trying to defend Garrett Nussmeier on Saturday. We'll be talking about the college football playoff poll. It came out yesterday. The very first edition of the 12-team playoff poll came out yesterday.
Yeah.
You didn't like it?
No.
You didn't like it. All right. Well, that's perfect. You know, that gives us something to talk about. And then we will round it out with Bama in the NFL. As we did not do it yesterday, we were caught up in all kinds of basketball hoopla. So we'll finish it out with Week 9, Bama in the NFL Week 9, as some highlights. Not a huge week, but a couple storylines, a couple highlights to discuss Bama in the NFL Week 9. Before we do that, we want to tell you we are proudly presented by Derek Daniel State Farm, and we appreciate Derek Daniel for having us in the Derek Daniel State Farm studios. You can call Derek Daniel at 205-758-3391 for all your insurance needs. We appreciate Derek Daniel for having us right off McFarland Boulevard past the Tiger Rock on the left. Call Red Reitzer Victoria. All his team members today will be happy to talk insurance with you. Get you a quick auto insurance quote, homeowners insurance quote, 205-758-3391. Like a good neighbor, Derek Daniel and State Farm is there. Call and see how much Derek can save you today. Well, Mason, we're right here in the middle of the week. The boat is kind of out here in the calm waters before everything gets going again on the weekend. Friday night basketball game, Saturday night football game, and really Alabama hoping to go 2-0 on the weekend. Obviously, the football game much more important to everybody's hopes. But here we are on a Wednesday, day after election. Everybody's looking for a distraction. Let's talk about LSU. Let's talk about the LSU game this weekend, everything that goes into it, and really let's talk about Garrett Nussmeier and what we see out of Garrett Nussmeier as far as where he ranks in this quarterback class. I was walking out of Coleman Coliseum with a friend, and I was basically saying, I am glad that my team does not need a quarterback in this draft because Garrett Nussmeier might be one of your top quarterbacks in this NFL draft, and he's good. Yeah. I think he can make a lot of throws, but is he an elite quarterback? Maybe an elite college quarterback, yes. But a pro prospect,
not so sold.
Not exactly. What do you think about when I throw the name Garrett Nussmeier out? Just what are the first couple of things that come to your mind?
He's definitely been better than I anticipated. I didn't really have a ton of high hopes for him coming into the year. I thought he'd kind of just be a very average quarterback. You know, he's going to not do a whole lot, just going to turn around and hand the ball off, and then throw it to Kyron Lacey on the outside and let him do the work. But he's a talented quarterback. He really can make some NFL throws. You know, he does make some impressive throws. He's got an impressive arm. I think decision making is a little bit where you maybe have some holdups with his play, especially that Texas A&M game. I know you were just watching it right before we got on the show. Some of those picks from that game that he had, and I think he had 3 of them, and they were all pretty bad, pretty inexcusable. So, you know, overall, I think he is talented. I think he maybe just lacks a little bit of the maybe the mental side. He doesn't really process things well or something. It seems like sometimes he just kind of makes bad decisions.
I think he's just. Oh, there's a second interception. Yeah, that I'm watching it on the sidelines, and that was just a.
It seems like he was
Probably,
trying to do too
probably
much.
did not see did not see the linebacker underneath coverage. I think that he's an anticipatory thrower, is what I'm seeing here, and I think that he's gotten caught on these first two interceptions by with his anticipation a little bit, but when he's on or when he's not making a bad decision and he is anticipating correctly, I think I see some problems for Alabama.
I mean, even in that game, you look to one of the touchdown passes he threw. It was on the to the left side, going into the end zone, a little like kind of fade ball. He just floated it right over the top. It was a beautiful throw, like NFL style, NFL level throw. It was very, very nice, and he can do it. He's capable, but it's just you have to rein him in, I think.
Yeah, so it's going to be up to Alabama and Kane Womack to change the picture up on him, because I think he's a smart quarterback is what it seems like to me, but maybe trusts himself a little too much. Exactly. Yeah. So what you want to do is mix the picture up on him, show him one look pre-snap, a different look after the snap. You're going to have to. I mean, LSU, they've only given up 4 sacks all season long. It's going to be really, really tough to get after him as far as getting sacks. But it still doesn't mean you can't move him. Bring blitzes to get him on the move and get him kind of get his brain kind of clock going a little bit faster.
Just make him do more. Before the snap, make him do more after the snap. I do think, like you're saying, it's going to be a week where Alabama has to rely on the secondary a lot more than maybe in weeks past, where the front seven has been able to get after the quarterback a bit. But there are still ways to simulate pressure. There are still ways that Alabama can create pressure. So they're going to have to scheme into it. I think this is going to have to be where Kane Womack makes his paycheck. This is going to be a big week for him.
All right, so this is making me think, and I'm already pulling it up right here. This is making me think back to the last time Alabama dealt with an elite receiver that was named Luther Burton. And 2 weeks ago, Luther Burton had three receptions for 3 yards. Nothing. Demonte Jackson and company.
His quarterback was also
right. Drew Pine was inept. Let's just be honest with you. Drew Pine and Garrett Nussmeier. Those comparisons are yes, exactly. It's nothing alike. And I do think that Alabama did get fortunate with the quarterback situation with Missouri, because I do think Brady Cook is a talented quarterback, but I think Brady Cook came in at about 40% of himself, and he left all 40. No, he left them all out on the field. Until they had to move to Drew Pine, and so I think Alabama got a little bit fortunate there. And so Garrett Nussmeier obviously much better than probably both Brady Cook and definitely Drew Pine. So you've got elite receivers with LSU, 3 of them. One of them obviously is a tight end, but three players: Kyron Lacey on the outside, Aaron Anderson out of the slot, and Mason Taylor from your tight end position. Are going to be a big challenge. And I asked Jihad Campbell yesterday about dealing, because he's going to have really responsibility on either Aaron Anderson or Mason Taylor, probably a lot of Mason Taylor, but things will flip depending on different plays. So I asked him, what's the challenge of dealing with guys in the middle of the field that are different skill sets like that? Oh, and he brushed it off. These guys, Mason, I love them. If you watch them on BamaCentral.com, BamaCentral's YouTube channel, but they're horrible interviews. They're horrible. Oh, what's the challenge? Oh, there's no challenge, or they're all a challenge. It's all the same. Everything's the same. 1-0. They asked Kendrick Law yesterday about going home. He's from Louisiana, playing in Louisiana. Oh yeah, it'd be nice to go home. Oh, well, is there any extra juice? Oh, no, every game's a big game. Well, are you going to have a lot of family there? Oh, I have a lot of family at every game. It's like
I love it. I love it and I hate it.
I have a lot of family, like, and that's great that they come up for these games for sure. But it's just like, you can't give me anything.
Yeah.
You don't have a third grade teacher that's going to be at the game that doesn't usually come to the games at Tuscaloosa, or a mentor, or something. Just you get nothing out of these guys. But Jihad Campbell essentially again gives you, it's going to be just a challenge, just another thing that we got to deal with. Aaron Anderson and Mason Taylor. Look, it's Malachi Moore, it's Brayson Hubbard, it's Devontae Smith,
Dog.
and really it's one of these inside linebackers, because the other is going to have a different responsibility. But one of these inside linebackers is going to pretty much be playing kind of that hook zone, that curl zone, right across the middle. And so you're going to have to be keeping up with these guys, and you're going to have to be tackling at the point. Like, okay, you're going to give up reception. Sometimes, Aaron Anderson,
he's going to get open. He's going to catch the ball.
Exactly.
That's just part of it.
But you got to, so Mason Taylor, he boxed me out.
Yeah.
He got a 6-yard catch. Well, I have wrapped him up.
Down at 6 yards.
Gain tackle.
Yes.
He's on the ground.
Yeah, I think that's the key, especially with a guy like Aaron Anderson or a guy like Kyron Lacey who can operate in space so effectively. The key is to just not give them any space. You have to keep both of those guys, and Mason Taylor too, even. You have to keep all of those guys. You have to stay within arm's reach of them at all times. Anytime they touch the ball, someone's got to be there to touch them immediately and bring them down. So, it's easier said than done. Obviously, we can sit here and talk about it, but it's going to be tough for Alabama to do. Because, like you just said, guarding those guys is very difficult. Keeping Aaron Anderson right beside you is not easy to do, especially if you're a linebacker. So I think Alabama's defense really has its work cut out for them this week.
Well, so that brings me back to 2 weeks ago. Alabama's defense, the questions are asked. Was the shutout performance more about was the performance more about Missouri's deficiencies on offense? You didn't have Nate Noel, their starting running back. They did have Michael Carroll, who's a good little running back, but they had Theo Weiss, they had Luther Burton, but deficiencies under center. Was it more about Missouri being deficient, or did Alabama, was that a performance that they can take into Baton Rouge that gives you or anyone or the defense themselves confidence?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think and I think I maybe said this when we talked about it previously. I think for Alabama, inside the building, for the coaches, for the players, they looked at that, or they took that, and they were very happy with it. It's a big confidence builder. Getting a shutout's hard to do. I think LSU, I think me and you, other fans and other analysts and things maybe watched the game and said, okay, Missouri quite literally could not advance the ball hardly the entire game because of their inept quarterback and their just complete deficiency on offense. So, no,
you got to give Alabama. Okay,
you do have to give Alabama credit.
I mean, it's not like quarterback. You're still pressuring him.
Yes,
they still got some pressure.
Still a Division I football team.
Right. Alabama still brought heat and moved him off the spot a little bit, made him uncomfortable, forced him into those three bad. I mean, those three throws were bad, but Alabama moved him off.
Yeah.
I mean, James Smith moved him off the spot for the Quay Rutsall interception. Like, there's still some good defense being played.
I think there are things to take away. There is look at the way they played certain situations. They did things the right way. I think just getting that shutout specifically maybe is a little overblown because of how bad Missouri was on offense. I think if you do that same defensive performance, you're probably not going to be pitching a lot of shutouts. Not to say it was a bad defensive performance, just to say this is college football now. Teams score at will. You're not going to stop everybody from scoring, especially LSU. It's just I don't know. The team, I think, is very, very confident after that. I think that's big. Just seeing the 0 on the scoreboard, I think that is very big, just from a not necessarily an X's and O's standpoint, but from a team morale standpoint. The general vibe in the locker room, I think, is probably higher after that, especially coming off some rough weeks there. but I just don't really know if they're, you're in the film room watching with, you're in the linebacker reading, you're in the cornerbacks meeting. I don't really know what you're taking away from that game specifically and saying like, this is what we have to recreate.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, I agree on that for sure. I think what you recreate from that game are the fundamentals.
Yes.
Are what hey, the fact that you were want to know every snap. That I mean, obviously, it's some snaps there was a couple of losses here and there, but the fact that you were in it and you were this is every play. I am treating it as a life of its own, and I'm here doing the fundamentals. That's what you take away from that Missouri game.
Yeah, I think the biggest you don't just you can't walk away thinking like, oh yeah, we're gonna shut people out, like because you're not.
Yeah. So this week, when we just flirted with the LSU topic on Monday, Alabama was a 2.5-point favorite. It has now gone up to 3, so it's not only a half point, but we're starting to move towards Alabama being a favorite. What about this? What about this Marcel Reed fella and what he did with LSU running the football in the second half? And how do you think, do we think that Alabama is just sitting there salivating? Or do you think that, look, Brian Kelly goes after the game and says, well, if I was an opposing team, I would run the quarterback against us. And good and well, he's not saying that in the postgame press conference after this loss, not knowing that Alabama is next on the schedule with Jalen Milroe. Is he trying to set a trap for Alabama, or is this something that Alabama can really be using?
I mean, I think it's right there on tape. This is something that Alabama can be using. I think LSU's defense got exposed a little bit. And Texas A&M very obviously found something that worked. And, I do think Jalen Milroe and Marcel Reed, they're different types of runners. Marcel Reed is a lot more in that maybe – you kind of not. He isn't Lamar Jackson, but he's more in the mold of a Lamar.
He got a little
Jackson.
more wiggle.
Yes, he's got the more shake, a little more wiggle to his game. He's not as much of a power runner as Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe is cut from the cloth of Jalen Hurts.
Agreed.
That's he's a power
straight line runner.
Yes, he's very very good at that, but he's not going to be breaking people's ankles a ton. But that being said, I still think Texas A&M very obviously found something that worked and exposed that LSU defense a bit. And I think Alabama is watching that saying, all right, we've got Jalen Milroe, who's probably the best running quarterback in the country. We've got two of the best running backs in the country. Let's just run the ball 50 times and win the football game. Hopefully. I sure hope that's what they're saying to themselves. That's what I would be saying to myself. That's what I want to see.
Look, this LSU offense, it's explosive.
Yeah.
And
it's the same team LSU has been for the last couple of years.
Right. If you treat them that way, if you say, well, look, what have the teams done against us who view us as an explosive offense? Oh, they've slowed the game down. You don't have to slow it down a lot. You don't have to take yourself out of who you are, Alabama. But really, if you are just giving the defense a little bit of a break because you're just, hey, instead of a 6-play drive, maybe it's a 9 to 10 play drive because you called a couple more run plays and you're just hammering it in there. I think that's the recipe.
I want to see a lot of first and second down runs. I want to see.
You got to win on first. That's the biggest issue for Alabama is winning on first down. If you win on first down, it's down schedule, then you can do anything you want.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think that there's nothing really on this LSU team that leads
Holy
me.
Holy moly, Marcel Reed! I just saw him go 60 yards over the top.
He's good. He's a good quarterback. They definitely Texas A&M has figured something out with him. Unfortunately that they lost right after, but back to the defense. I think it's just they do pose a threat, but it's just kind of they've not shown me anything on anything that I've seen from LSU to make me believe that they're going to be able to line up against Alabama's offense and stop them from scoring. I think they're a fine team. Obviously they're ranked as highly as they are for a reason, but they're also, this is kind of the same team LSU has been basically since Brian Kelly took over. They're good on offense, pretty questionable defense.
So essentially just don't turn the football over.
Yeah.
Don't turn the football over.
Just play sound football, turn around, give the ball to Jamin Justice, and you'll be fine. You take your shots, get you a few deep balls to Jeremy Bernard, Ryan Williams, maybe get Kendrick Law involved in front of his hometown crowd.
You definitely need that.
100%. 100%. So, you don't have to completely change your offensive identity just because, you need to slow it down a bit because LSU's explosive and they're gonna tire your defense out. But just a little bit.
Tap the brake just a hair.
I don't think Kalen DeBoer is a dumb man. I don't think Nick Sheridan is a dumb man. I think they are hopefully watching these games from LSU and seeing the same things because it's pretty obvious, it appears. So I would like to see, I'd like to see things just slow down a little bit. Slow down, smell the roses for Alabama this week. That's the motto of this game.
That'd be fun. We'll talk about it some more on Thursday. We'll name our 3 players to watch on Thursday as well as we continue to get you ready for this weekend's game down in Baton Rouge. Before we talk about last night's playoff rankings, we want to tell you about our friends Purple Turtle Roofing. They're the most reliable residential roof replacement company in Alabama and Mississippi. Purple Turtle Roofing, whether it's addressing leaks, storm damage, or general wear and tear, they're the most reliable residential roof replacement company in Alabama and Mississippi. You can call Dustin Foley and his team today at 877-PT-ROOF-5 for your free roof inspection. That's 877-787-6635 to schedule your appointment, and one of their qualified employees will come check out your roof for free and make sure you're prepared for any and all of life's storms. You can check them out online today at roofturtle.com. We appreciate Derek Daniels sponsoring the program. You can find us in the Derek Daniels State Farm Studios just off McFarland Boulevard. Call Derek and his team today at 205-758-3391. Call and see how much Derek can save you today. So Mason, a big poll last night. No, it wasn't on CNN or Fox or MSNBC, whatever your political favorite channel is. We don't care about that.
Didn't even pay attention.
It is the college football playoff poll was released last night. All right. So Oregon, number 1, number 2, Ohio State, 3, Georgia, 4, Miami, 6, Texas, 5. Whoa. Joe cannot count today. 5, Texas, 6, Penn State, 7, Tennessee, 8, Indiana, 9, BYU, 10, Notre Dame, 11, Alabama, 12, Boise State, 13, SMU, 14, Texas A&M, and 15, LSU, with a lot of teams in the OLI. So this is your first playoff poll. They put it out 1 through 15, and then
on you, CFP
they
committee.
reseed the teams for the playoff purposes, because obviously the top 4 conference champions, top 4 seeded conference champions will get the 1 through 4 seed, and then they fill in everything else from there.
This ranking means nothing.
It's weird.
It means nothing.
Right.
It's completely useless to me. What is the purpose of giving me these teams if at the end of the year you're just going to say, yeah, let's reorder all of it? Just give me the ranking that they would be if the bracket happened today. It's insane to me that they did this. It seems so stupid. I don't know. This poll means nothing. It quite literally means nothing. Cool. These teams are the top 12. What? Okay, that the playoff is not going to be outright the top 12 teams. There's a format to it. So give me the format.
Right. They should just rank. We'll take the top 4 champions, whoever it is. So
whoever is at the top of the top 4 conferences right now should have been 1 through 4.
It's now number 1, it's Oregon. Yeah. It's Oregon. Number 2 is Georgia. Number 3 is Miami. Number 4 is BYU. Bam, 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 bam. Just like it is in the first round of the poll. Right. And then, okay, so number 5 is Ohio State. And you say, oh, no, Ohio State, they really should be number 2 or 3. Well, tough titties. You cannot be top 4 in the same conference.
Top of your conference.
Like you're number 5. Number 6 is Texas. Number 7, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, this is so strange. It feels like
it's annoying.
To me, this just feels like it was a move to appease the big names and just be like, well,
it's a move.
We'll keep you up there.
Right. It is that. And it goes to confuse college football fans.
Yeah.
I think that college football fans, I love them all. But are they the smartest bunch of the people that I know?
A large portion of them that still don't even understand the format of the playoff.
Right. Exactly. So just give them, and you know what? If BYU gets knocked out as the Big 12 champion, they're the current champion, and what? It's Iowa State is at 15 or 16 or so. Well, boo-hoo, BYU, you drop 12 spots in a week, 13 spots in a week, and Iowa State jumps up 16 spots in a week, or whatever the case may be. Like that's just the way it is. Ridiculous to me. Because it just goes to confuse. Now, Alabama, 11 spot, 11 seed. Perfect. All right. No big deal.
Yeah.
Going to Texas.
Woo!
Yes.
Man,
yes, please. Yes. I will give me that all day. What do you think about this field? Because the field that you see right now won't be the field that you see at the end, but it'll be close
it's not
for sure.
Too far off. I think we'll only see a couple of these teams maybe drop out of here by the end of the year. It looked, very similar to the rankings that me and you did. Just the orders all switched because they decided to do this convoluted way of releasing them. But the names are all the same. These are the 12 teams we expected to be there. Going to Texas, that's tough. I like it and I would love it, but man, that's a tough draw having to go to DKR.
Oh yeah. 2 years ago, hot as can be, but this will be in December.
That's true.
And
to Texas, what do they do when it gets cold? I feel like they can't be that excited in Austin when it gets that cold.
Well, is it cold like the desert cold, like where it gets bone cold at night, and then they're wearing like leather and cowboy,
that's definitely a game where they have Matthew McConaughey on the sideline, and he's over there.
He's got ice in his beard. He sprayed his beard.
He's giving him a pregame pump up speech. He's sitting
all right. Now, fellas, what you gotta understand?
Doesn't know a lick about football.
Is you just gotta hit them hard.
Now you need to go out there and just score more points.
Everything that's white in the white uniform, because we'll be in all white. Oh, all white on the road, nice. First round.
It would feel very good to beat Texas in their own home.
So, all right, outside of the Alabama-Texas matchup, which one of these three games is must watch? Indiana at Tennessee in Neyland Stadium, Notre Dame at Penn State, or Boise State at Ohio State?
I hate Boise State at Ohio State just because I need Boise State to get a home game so bad. That would be so awesome.
I think you are seeing in this format that it doesn't matter who the non-Power 5 conference champion is. You're 12, buddy. Good luck. You're 12, and you're going to who probably should be a 2 or a 3 seed.
Yeah, that's a tough draw. I do really like that Tennessee-Indiana matchup. I think that would be fun. Indiana is obviously untested, but I think they're a good team. My gut just tells me that they have a really good chance at beating Ohio State. Maybe will. I think they're a good team. They're very obviously very well coached. Kurt Cignetti. Some people may be thinking he's the man Alabama should have gone after. I'm happy with Kalen DeBoer. I think he's doing great in his first year. But I've definitely seen those rumblings. But he's doing fantastic at Indiana. He is absolutely turning them into a school to be respected football wise. You can even see it on like the recruiting trail I've seen this week. They're getting visits from like top 25 guys and things. So, Indiana's coming up. BYU, Penn State. I like that. I think Penn State.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, Penn State. Still a great match. That would be like two titans of college football.
Absolutely. I think that's awesome. My pick.
Yeah, that.
Whiteout, Penn State.
Yeah, that is good.
You're gonna have a lot of Notre Dame people trying to buy those tickets up.
I would like. Yeah, I might have to agree with you. That probably just for like history's sake, that might be the best one of this projected matchup.
But if you're in Neyland Stadium, like it's ravenous. That's the word that's coming into my brain. It is just. Oh my goodness, wild the scenes. You think that it was wild a couple weeks ago when Alabama was up there, and it was. You give those people a home playoff game.
They're trashing that field if Indiana beats them at home.
But when they win, they might
trash the field also.
Right, exactly.
Either way, that field's getting destroyed.
But how about this? You like this if you're Alabama, just the way this is set up.
Yeah.
You're at Texas. All right, you're gonna have to go to right now where Alabama is. Even if you win out, you're probably on the road in the first round, and you're probably playing a quality opponent, whether it's at Ohio State, at Penn State, at Tennessee, at Texas. You're probably playing a quality opponent. But you like this setup where your next round game is the ACC champion. You want to be paired up with that ACC or Big 12 champion where you're playing
absolutely do.
BYU or Miami in that next round. Because if you, not to say that's a gimme,
Yeah,
it's not a
not
gimme.
to disrespect Miami,
But
look,
BYU. And Cam Ward looks like he'd be hell to defend.
Yes,
but you want
Xavier
that over
Restrepo.
the Oregon Georgia matchup.
100%. I think that's very obviously the match. Unfortunately for Miami, they're the weak link of the bunch.
And BYU,
yeah,
whoever the Big 12 champion
weak links of the bunch. So it just kind of is the way it is. You definitely don't want to play Georgia. You definitely don't want to play Oregon. They have proven themselves to be the two best teams in college football up to this point of the year. So,
plus, if you're playing Miami, I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm making this up, and if I am, please forgive me. But I'm pretty sure that they are seeding these playoffs. The Big Ten champions going to the Rose Bowl. So SEC champion, this first part is going to the Sugar Bowl. So that Georgia matchup would be in New Orleans.
Okay.
This Miami matchup would be in Miami. But you got to think. Would you rather fight the Georgia fans for a ticket in the Sugar Bowl, or would you rather fight
Dolphins fans for a ticket?
Exactly.
Game,
Miami fans for like. I hate to say this, but they're not even showing. They're showing up a little.
Miami has such an odd fan base,
right?
Because online they're like one of the strongest fan bases in the country. You will see more Miami fans. You will see more orange and green, ravenous Miami fans on Twitter.
But I think more Alabama fans could get into Hard Rock Stadium.
Because no one's going to show up.
Exactly.
No one goes to the Miami games. They can't sell out their own state. They can't sell out Hard Rock ever.
They'll end up getting tickets, and they'll see how crazy the Alabama fans are, and they'll say, "Oh shoot, $110! I can get $110 for my ticket." Sure,
and then I can walk across the street and go into a plethora of the sweetest nightclubs in the country. Like, yeah, let's just go do that. We'll go have some fun in Miami. Yeah, Miami. I hate it for you. It's an unfortunate place for a college football team to reside.
So I think that you'd and look, if Miami gets upset in an ACC championship game.
Not out of this world. Miami is a mostly untested team.
Right. And that's going to bounce somebody out. So, like, really, Miami still stays in, I bet you, as a one-loss team in like a 10 spot.
You know who that opens the door for? I mean, in theory, should be maybe BYU or Boise State.
Well,
because they would be the only remaining. I mean, who's the next? They would be the highest seeded conference champion at that point, wouldn't they?
Oh, would they not? Over the ACC champion, over Pittsburgh or Clemson or
SMU?
SMU is at 13.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, they're hard. I don't.
Yeah, I think SMU. But I mean, that'd be the debate for sure.
I think it opens the door.
Oh, and imagine if you're Alabama, you play SMU in that second round in Miami. Of course that's a home game in Hard Rock Stadium against SMU. Yeah. You're decimating that
unless
team.
Some oil tycoon just buys all the tickets himself.
You're destroying that team. All right, so it's the first week, and really for Alabama, it's simple. If you do not win, you're pretty much out. So
Alabama controls its own destiny. Just win and you're in.
Stay alive by winning in Baton Rouge this weekend. We'll keep talking about that. We'll talk about the playoff rankings and more right here on the Joe Gaither Show. Let's continue. Before we do, we'll tell you about our friends Druid City Music Hall. They're the premier place for live music on the Strip. You can check them out online at druidcitymusichall.com/shows. Tomorrow, Thursday, Austin Snell is performing live 8 o'clock on the Strip at Druid City Music Hall. You can get your tickets. And Friday, Charles Wesley Godwin is going to be playing on Friday, 8 o'clock as well. Look, these concerts are perfect for the olds like me. You can get in there. The show starts about 7:55, 8:01, and goes right about to 9:59, 10:05 or so, and I'm in bed at 10:30, off the strip, away from the madness before the crazies take over. So go check them out. Druid City Music Hall. It is the premier place for live music on the strip. You can check them out online, druidcitymusichall.com/shows. Last thing for us, Mason. Brian Branch was unfairly persecuted. Brian Branch doing the Lord's work, hunting Green Bay Packers.
Just a hard-nosed player. He just plays the game the right way.
Hunting Green Bay Packers, doing a service to God and man.
Yeah, it was a pretty bad
Gets
hit.
kicked out of the Detroit Lions Green Bay Packers game.
Yep.
Got Brian Branch one.
Brian Branch, I love you, but I'm upset with you this week because of that.
Jermaine Burton too. Inactive this week. Is photographed playing slots. I know that gambling is legal in Ohio.
Bad look though.
Not good.
Many rumors swirling around about, at least from what I've seen, about him maybe being late, falling asleep in team meetings, being an all-around bit of a cancerous member of the locker room.
How can you be a malcontent as a rookie and you haven't even really?
Come on.
Well, what's he got? Like 2 receptions on the season.
He's been okay. He's had a few decent games. I think I think in a little bit. I think he definitely could be a contributing member of that offense if he wants to be. I think it's just up to him. Zach Taylor, the coach for the Bengals, talk about it. It seems like they really like him. I think they want Jermaine Burton to be a featured, kind of be that wide receiver 3 behind T. Higgins and behind
two receptions on 5 targets for 88 yards this season.
Oh, okay. Maybe I was thinking preseason he had some good games then.
Well, he's played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games.
So yeah, I think I think they want him to step into a role where he can be a piece of the offense. It's just we'll see from him whether or not he's going to do it. I think.
Jermaine, look,
come on. I mean, it's right there in front of you.
Look, how many maturity issues did you have when you were here in Tuscaloosa? And look, this is not to excuse you. This is to just acknowledge that. And surely Coach Saban pounded you into how you needed to be mature to last as a pro. Look, this is about cashing checks. This is not about your pride.
Yes.
Honestly,
this is your job.
Look, and we understand you got a lot of pride, and that's okay as a competitor. That's great as a competitor. It's probably what makes you great as a competitor. You got a lot of pride, but this is about cashing checks, and so you got the opportunity to cash a great check for the next 4 to 12 years, maybe, if you do this right. Okay. All right. And you can do this and you can set yourself up for life, or you can be like me and you can go check to check to check, and do a job, which I love, but it's just a little bit different life. Okay. You can do this. All you got to do is fall in line, because I agree with William Mason. It does sound like, it has sounded like Joe Burrow wants to use him. It sounds like Zach Taylor wants to get him out there. This is about, buddy, doing the right things. And I don't give a rip about people. Oh, you got inactive and you showed up to the game in pajama pants. It doesn't matter about pajama pants.
I really don't think anybody on the Bengals cared about that.
Right. But it's about showing up. It's about not acting. You're a rookie, right? 2 receptions, 88 yards. You're not doing jack, right?
You're not in the boat to be acting like this.
But you could be, and you could be a contributing factor. You could be a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3. Doesn't T. Higgins always hurt, always gone,
always hurt, asking for a trade?
So, it's just ridiculous. I think that he's got to get his act together.
Yeah, that's just insane. It blows my mind to see players do this year after year, where it's the world is just right there in front of them. You are a rookie in the NFL, and especially in this case, who very likely could be a big piece of the team that you are on, and you just want to crap it away. It will never make sense to me.
All right, anybody else in the NFL? All right, we joked about Brian Branch. No,
That was a bad hit.
That was a
That was a
bad
bad
hit.
hit.
That's totally a joke.
I do think
I am
that
a
is
Bears
just
fan.
a
If you didn't realize
contributor
it, but
to his style of play. That I think that's kind of just how Brian Branch
he
plays
smoked
football.
that guy.
I mean, even going back to when he was at Alabama, he was always just kind of a headhunter.
He
He
smoked
did.
that guy.
That's just he is a very hard nosed safety, and that is just the way he played. He reminds me a lot of like Cam Chancellor in his prime days in Seattle. Just out smoking dudes.
Do we like it that he that the punishment is get kicked out of the game like just like college, or should it have just been a 15-yarder and say?
I think in the NFL it should just be a fine because
Right,
you're getting paid. Yes,
take the penalty and know that, buddy, you're probably getting a 100,000,
sure.
50,000, whatever the fine is.
I think the ejection is ridiculous. I think that should just be limited to college where players are not receiving game checks. But when you can punish,
it shouldn't be a one-off. Maybe a 3 strikes you're out, sure. A yellow card, red card situation. 2 strikes you're out.
I mean, I think that's kind of how the NBA handles things with like fouls, flagrants, and it's so just take a similar approach. I think the ejections have gotten a bit frivolous, especially in recent years, with how just quickly the NFL wants to throw someone from a game for most of the time. Bang bang plays where they're not really trying to kill somebody out there.
So not a really huge week for Alabama in the NFL. Jahmyr Gibbs scores a touchdown. Derrick Henry, 2 touchdowns, gets himself up to 106 yards.
2K watch.
Oh, my gosh. Them Bengals, those Ravens. The Ravens are just looking incredible now that they've gotten Derrick Henry. And so what else we got for the pro? Jerry Jeudy had 7 catches, 70 yards. Jalen Hurts got himself two passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. Jalen Hurts passing it to that Saquon Barkley, leapfrogging the guy backwards.
That is the coolest thing I've ever seen happen in an NFL game. It's so upsetting that he got tackled immediately after because had it been a touchdown, it would have been even better. But oh my god, that play was so cool. The spin move right before was also insane. It's not going to get enough credit because of the hurdle, but then the backwards hurdle, which, wow, that's a dangerous move. Probably, I would not advise anyone to try that in a football game if you're a running back, receiver, tight end, whatever. I mean, he just blindly jumped into the air, completely exposing himself to the rest of the defense. But that was awesome. That was so cool.
Last 2 things on the Bama in the NFL front, probably a little bit on the sad side. Will Reichert goes on the IR, having a great rookie year for the Minnesota Vikings, even though that's a rival now of mine. Hate to see that. Then you also saw Ryan Kelly go on the injured reserve for the Indianapolis Colts. Not a Bears rival. Still hate to see that. Hope all the Bama guys heal up nicely. Will Reichert get back out there for Minnesota and keep making those long field goals, breaking my heart. Just hate to see 2 guys going on the injured reserve. Hope they get better quickly.
Yeah, it was it's unfortunate to see that, but yeah, like you said, it was a pretty quiet week mostly for the Bama guys in the NFL.
All right, so that's going to do it for our show today. We talked a little LSU. We talked a little college football playoff, a little bit about Bama in the NFL. Tomorrow, we will have our 3 players to watch for Alabama and LSU. We're going to talk more about these Bengal Tigers and what Alabama has to do to get the victory down there in Death Valley. Big thanks to Mason Woods for joining us today. You can follow Mason Woods at MAWoods_ on the Twitter machine. You follow the show on the BamaCentral YouTube channel. We appreciate you following us on my own social media machines at Joe Gaither 6, or you can find us on your favorite podcast platform, Spotify, Apple Podcast, or Amazon. The Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral. We are proudly presented by Derek Daniel and State Farm. We're also presented by Purple Turtle Roofing, Druid City Music Hall, and we are live right here in the Derek Daniel State Farm studios. Call 205-758-3391. Call and see how much Derek can save you today.